Hey guys, what's up? We here in Germany have a lockdown again. Hey, and I can't go anywhere outside my town. So I thought I'd tackle a project that I have been putting off for some time now. It is, I want to create a Fujifilm recipe that looks exactly like my own film style. The reason I started to shoot film in the first place was that I wanted to have this portrait pastel color overexposed super look everyone wanted to have, but I could not recreate this thing in digital. Until now, yeah, I did it. And how I confused my own Instagram followers with my recipe and how you can use my recipe to turn your Fujifilm camera into a digital film camera, so to speak, I will show you in this video. So, let's go! All those photos of the Williams, the Jasons and the George monkeys are there. They got me hooked to try out the medium film. From the exploring with the analog camera to developing and scanning film and the magic moment of converting. Everything of this process is very special to me. However, too many times this year I just couldn't get hands on new film because everything was sold out. Or sometimes I just want to try out new things without selling my liver because of the newest Kodak price hike. Every now and then this could happen.
Damn it, I just fired I just wasted a frame in the Veronica trying to smell sewer.
Sometimes I like to practice sound focusing on the streets after a long break, and I don't need film for that. Every time I wanted to recreate film, I was always dissatisfied with the results with a digital camera. What was that? Camera? Digital? Digital camera? Okay, I avoid this word for now, I guess. Anyway, back to the recipe. To achieve my goal, I broke the very first absolute basic rule of digital photography. Don't overexpose. And boy, I broke that rule really hard. I made a little experiment. To see if my recipe is convincing or not, I made a poll on Instagram. People had to choose out of 20 pictures if the picture is digital or analog. I'll show you the results. All digital photos are straight out of camera. All film photos are color plus. The first photo. I leave a short moment to think, then I show what most people thought, and then the result. What do you think it might be? My follower said it was film. And yes, it is film. The next one. Nice tones, bright highlights. What do you think? People said it must be film. But it's digital. Another one. Again, nice tones, bright highlights. Do not be deceived again. People said it must be digital. But it's not, it's film. Next one is my dog sleeping in a weird position. People said, oh, this must be digital. But it's not, it's film. Oh, the next one, so nice and bright. People said, this must be film. But I think you have seen through how this works now. It's, of course, digital. Oh, the next one. These bright red tones are something that no digital sensor can ever achieve. People agreed it must be film. And you know what comes next? It really is digital. I'm sorry my followers, but I have misled most of you. Of course I won't show you all the pictures now, that would be boring. After I hopefully didn't destroy your whole worldview, of course I show you how to use the recipe. That was interesting, huh? But let's get to the whole magic trick. My recipe works best with cameras with an X-Trend Sensor 4. So the X-T4, the X100, XE4, XS10 and the X Pro 3. However, I made extra a recipe for all your X-Trends 2 and 3 owners. So this recipe is quite similar but uses, instead of classic negative, classic chrome and has some other changes. I have built this recipe like I would process my own film photos, which resulted in a base of +2 EV. And in order to protect the highlights from this absolute massive overexposure, I have to crank up the dynamic range to the absolute maximum of 400%. This definitely will protect your highlights in every case. So, and the rest of the settings I will show you in a moment. Here are the recipes. Either stop the video or just take a screenshot. If you set everything right, the exposure compensation acts as a contrast slider and not as exposure compensation anymore. If you want more contrast, then just turn down the exposure compensation. Easy, right? Since the exposure meter of the Fuji only analyzes the tonal values in the image, you actually have to readjust the image every time. For dark objects compensate down and for bright objects compensate up. White balance is also quite important to preserve the film look. I set red to -2 to reduce the standard red cast of the classic negative. I use auto white balance and I adjust the white balance to a warm tone for the respective light mood. But you can use the standard white balance of Portra, so 5500 Kelvin with red -2. Fuji, if you probably see this, can you explain me why the film simulation classic negative is called in German classic black? What is also funny is that when you set a clarity value on the camera needs a short moment to process and save. This limitation makes it feel even more like using an analog camera, especially when you use a manual lens. If you need the real thrill, then turn off RAW and JPEG completely and only shoot JPEG, so you immediately have the comforting feeling of failure of film photography. One more word about the grain. The grain is multiplied strangely over the image, so that the sharpness does not suffer from the grain. But on closer inspection, it looks really wrong. Also, the grain is placed over bright areas in the image, which does not occur in film. Here you can usually tell if it's film or digital. If there's less grain in the light areas than in the dark areas, it's usually film. Oh, we have reached the end of the video. For the future I have planned a lot of new great Fujifilm videos and new recipes. This recipe in particular was really hard work, so if you liked it, then you maybe like to subscribe. This would really support my channel and my work. And of course, new great videos will follow. Meme packed. If you make cool pictures with my recipe, then please tag me on Instagram. I would like to see what you create. If you have questions, don't hesitate to write it in the comments down below. Until next time guys, take care. Bye.
Thank you.